Welcome once again, Gerald Brown, another episode of Heavy in the Paint. And I'm calling on my friends. This is my brother from another mother. Gentlemen, I just have so much high regards and so happy for him. A brother that's paid his dues. He knows the ins and outs. And I don't hold it against him because he's a San Francisco 49ers fan. Former NBA player, now currently Houston Rockets TV analyst, Mr. Ryan Hollins has joined me. So, Ryan, obviously, NFL season's here and your team looks good. I've often said that the San Francisco 49ers, their thing is with their definition, it's always they're good, but it's always been the situation they're good, but so going into the season, I said, hey, they look good on paper. Everybody's back, but is Brock Purdy a one-hit wonder, or is he the real deal? Thus far, he's been really, really exceptional. What have been your thoughts on this team thus far in the early stages of the season?
Man, I think the only thing that held Brock Purdy back in the 49ers was his injury. And then there wasn't even a backup. And hence, what do we see the NFL do come into play? They said, if in need be, you have that emergency third quarterback that was ready. And I'm sure the funny story that Phillip Rivers, if the team made it to the Super Bowl, Phillip Rivers, in emergency case, was going to suit up and play for the Niners. So I say that to say the 49ers have just about everything. And you're right, G. They're a hit away, but in the NFL, there's so much up and down because you can't control injuries. But the one thing the 49ers do a great job of is they shore up the offensive line, the defensive line. They got playmakers out on the edge. So it's almost like the least important position, which is like crazy, right? Is the quarterback position. So Brock Purdy, the thing that makes him different from Garoppolo, the other guys that were in there in the situation with the Niners, even the Colin Kaepernick, with all due respect, is he's willing to take a chance. He's willing to get the ball to his playmakers and let those guys rock. Obviously, from a schematic standpoint, man, there's a lot of movement. It's hard to play against the 49ers. So if you go out there and you run the system right, you're going to have a lot of success because of the creativity on the offensive end, because of the defense can go out and win your game. So the positive thing for the Niners, what has me happy as a Niner fan, is we're always going to have a shot. And now if you come down to health and you come down to just, hey, we just need you to not turn the football over as a quarterback, you're going to have a chance to win with the Niners. So I'm consistent there. I like Purdy because he will take some of those shots. And I feel like if you're in a situation, this is the difference between him and Jimmy G. Gerald, let me know if you agree with this. If the game is 14-10 because the defense has been balling, and we need Jimmy G to go down and get us a touchdown. With all due respect, I don't trust that he'll do that. But if we're up 21-17, I think he's going to bring that game home. He's going to get you a field goal. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to put you in a situation to win. Brock Purdy, if we say let it rip, I have faith that Brock Purdy can at least give you a chance. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not some of these other quarterbacks, but I feel like in that system, he's good enough to do his job.
Yeah, I look at the San Francisco 49ers and the job that John Lynch, and the coaching staff that has done. It's amazing because if you compare it to basketball, right? I had a NBA official tell me that in order to win a championship or be in championship contending, you have to A, build through the draft, B, develop those drafted players, C, trades, and E, if you want, or D, if you want, is to have the right free agents that you bring in. When you look at what the San Francisco 49ers have done, from drafting right players, I mean, look, I don't know how you figure it out, but Brock Purdy, I think obviously he was Mr. Irrelevant. So that means
For sure.
he was quite overlooked and stuff by the other players and stuff. But when you look at it, it's also building and drafting right. And then there's certain type of players they bring in there. I think clearly the 49ers represent that all across the board. I'm looking at the situation with the New York Jets and Ryan, this whole situation with the quarterback, Zach Wilson. So many people pointing fingers. He's terrible. He's this. He's that. We need to get him out of there. Respectfully, the legendary Joe Namath said, I'm tired of seeing him. That's it. We need to get rid of him. But at some point, Ryan, the thing that's really interesting, and obviously you being a former NBA player, is the fact of the matter is nobody holds the organization accountable. When you just talked about Brock Purdy, and I just alluded to you, you look at the fact there's the solid foundation from Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. The pieces are in place to develop guys, and more so, if anything, you have the right pieces around them. And looking at this young man, the Jets are not really a solid foundation. When you look at quarterback play overall in the league, and you look specifically at the Jets, how much blame do you blame on the organization in terms of their development? Because they did the similar thing to Geno Smith. And look at Geno Smith. He's playing, obviously in your division with the Seahawks, and he's a decent quarterback.
I think a lot of it goes, and this is the difference between the NBA and the NFL. One player can change your entire franchise. That's why you see they're going after these guys in the 8th grade, in the 7th grade. They're trying to, get their paws on them that early because one player literally can shift millions and almost billions of dollars. We've seen it with LeBron James. So as you talk about the NFL, the difference is you don't necessarily need one position. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is the baddest man on the planet, but if you have an offensive line, a defensive line, like how we talked about with the 49ers, and you build, guess what? Zach Wilson's going to be that much more comfortable in the pocket. It's hard to fairly evaluate a young quarterback. Here, I'm going to say it again. It's hard to fairly evaluate a young quarterback when he never gets time to be comfortable in the pocket, when they don't have a run game, a play action game behind him. So now you're asking him to do things that he's not comfortable doing. So yeah, Zach Wilson's throwing the ball into the dirt. Yeah, he's overthrowing passes because he's uncomfortable. The dude's out there getting popped. Okay, he's getting lit up. So that's where a veteran would come in, know how to diagnose and read the defense early, pre-snap, before it comes around. Calm down that offensive line and do those things, and you're trying to compensate for your lack of O-line with a veteran in that locker room, a guy who can go out and make reads. When you're out there on the court or you're on the field, your coach can't do it for you. And that's why sometimes you can't walk these young quarterbacks through situations. So yes, did Aaron Rodgers help? Would he have patched up for some of those mistakes just by him having a feel for what's going on, his experience? Yes, but also from the organizational standpoint, to answer your question, I think it's twofold. Could they have given him an offensive line, a run game to put these guys in success? So a lot of these young quarterbacks, they're running for their life, okay? They're running for their life out there. You got to get creative. They got to get outside the pocket. That's why a lot of teams are going after quarterbacks who can scramble. Why? Because he's 5 positions in one. You can't catch him back there. He's just going out there and making plays. But if you build the right way through that offensive line, whoever you come in is going to be poised for success just by having the opportunity and having patience there. But to me, it's twofold. But that's where these young quarterbacks are being failed, and they're getting thrown into situations. G.
Former NBA player and now currently Houston Rockets TV analyst Ryan Hollins joining me, Gerald Brown, here Heavy in the Paint. So let's switch gears. Obviously, it was all NFL talk, all NFL. We're getting ready. NFL is here. It's here. It dominates everything, the landscape. Next, you have the training camps opening up real soon. It's making the transition. And then all of a sudden, boom, we have the Damian Lillard trade, not to Miami, as many expected, but to Milwaukee. And again, this trade, from the standpoint, Ryan, I think everybody won in this trade because obviously, if I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan, I'm very sad that Dame has gone on. But I think the organization has really satisfied the fan base by bringing in quality, young team that now can build with their head coach, Chauncey Billups. Then I look at the Phoenix Suns. Yes, they get some pieces there to shore up just that sort of 3-headed monster that they're going to have. And Bradley Beal, as well as Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they have supportive pieces there. And then Milwaukee, I think, gets a closer. No disrespect to Jrue Holiday at all, but I think they get a closer, something that they have been lacking, down the stretch in a lot of the playoffs, and most recently last season. How do you look at this trade from all angles, and what were your overall grade for everybody?
It's too early to give that overall grade.
On
I'm
paper,
interested. I'm interested to see how Ayton works in Portland. I'm really looking to that. I played with Chauncey Billups. I've watched him, covered him as a coach. He's a mentor to me as an analyst, as a player, a lot of those things. I think he can give a lot of confidence to Ayton. I'm interested to see how that works out up there. In terms of the Suns, they get some depth. They move on from Ayton. There was, just a weird situation there, contract wise, extended, whatever. He gets a fresh start, and I think that's always good for young players. In terms of the big piece, right? The big piece. Giannis can be Robin now. He doesn't have to be Batman. And some people take that as disrespect, but it's not. You could argue that Shaq was Robin and Kobe was Batman those last 2 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong, he was Batman for the first 37 minutes of the game, but those last 2 minutes or whatever, Kobe was Batman. He turned into Robin, and I say that with no disrespect at all. And you brought it up, G. You said the last 2 minutes closing. Damian Lillard is he's the best. I don't even want to say arguably, he's the best closer in basketball right now.
Really?
And now you get, and that's I'm talking about Steph. I'm talking about LeBron James. He's the best closer in basketball right now. Okay, remember that. So now Damian Lillard's a guy you trap in the pick and roll when he's cooking because he's that darn good. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a guy you assign 4 people to stand in front of him in the paint. So the only question now is those third options stepping up and hitting shots. But that's a 1-2 punch that's going to be extremely hard to guard, and as far as picking your poison in a pick and roll, as far as late game execution. Hey, man, Giannis can go into a role where he can be comfortable, Gerald. When you think about guys, sometimes they can bring the ball up court, rebound the ball, go guard the other team's best player. But when you're saying, hey, man, similar to Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors, just go be a scorer, KD. We don't need you to do nothing else. You're not getting double teamed because they can't double team you. Just go be a scorer. Now you say, Giannis, just go be a finisher. Forget bringing the ball up court in the half court. Forget trying to play make and do all this. Go be a finisher, Giannis, because you got the baddest man in the position, at the position, one of the baddest, shout out to Steph Curry, one of the baddest in the position with the ball in his hands, going out to make plays. So they're immediately championship contenders. They're going to be in the mix, and it's scary. And I think the question will be saying with Milwaukee, who's that third guy that's going to step up and hit shots? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm double teaming Giannis. And I'm double teaming Dame right now. They ain't touching. Those two ain't gonna beat me. The third guy gotta beat me, and I'm gonna leave him butt naked with a hard closeout with the game on the line. And you got to show me that you're gonna make a shot. That's how good those two are.
Wait a minute, you forgetting about Chris Middleton, right?
Chris Middleton got to beat me. Those two are that good. With all due respect, Chris Middleton has to beat me. Or if it's not Chris Middleton, who's the other guy on the other wing?
Yeah. Huh? Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez gonna have to hit a 3 to beat me. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to hit a 3 to beat me. I'm sorry, because those two, and it's not disrespect to either of those two guys.
Right.
It's none. But Giannis is too dominant in the paint. You got two guys stretching the floor vertically. One eat paint, one eats the 3-point line. Championship contenders. I'm just trying to find a weakness, G. That's how good they are. That's how good that is, because we're talking about two proven things.
That's definitely the case. When you look at Jrue Holiday, former UCLA Bruin, I thought it was really interesting. Some of the people were saying, we had this offseason where you had two players in Damian Lillard and James Harden basically saying, I want out. And people were saying, hey, honor your contract and all this stuff. And then now all of a sudden, Jrue Holiday wanted to be a Milwaukee Buck for life. And that's what his goal. He said that. And now he's being moved. And unfortunately, look, this is the business of it, right? It's all a business. It's never personal. When now he's in Portland, clearly he's going to be moved. I'll ask you, simply the fact is that when you look at this situation, what Milwaukee's done, I always feel that there's a potential for a knee-jerk reaction from a team like Boston, from a team like Miami. Other teams in trying to identify how could they get even still in the mix. Now, Boston is sitting there. It was reported that Malcolm Brogdon was, a little upset. He didn't like how things happened with his injury. And now you look at what Milwaukee has done, and you have a Jrue Holiday up there. I'm trying to figure out, maybe if I'm Boston, do you entertain the possibility of maybe a Malcolm Brogdon for Jrue Holiday type of mix, to add a Jrue Holiday to that mix, Ryan, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? That's a guy that's known defender, that kind of, in a sense, not identical, but similar to the guy that they just lost in Marcus Smart. as well as Philadelphia to sort of calm things down. What do you think is the best fit for your brethren, your UCLA brethren?
So for one, the way that Drew plays, you're gonna have all 29 teams in the league putting a call in. It's gonna be the
Mm.
Los Angeles Lakers, it's gonna be LeBron James. The Phoenix Suns gonna be saying, "Man, we couldn't get you there, but maybe we can make something happen another way." Jokic is gonna be saying, "Man, can we get that Drew Holiday over here?" There's the Golden State Warriors. Okay, I can go down on the list. Why? Because he defends, he hits big shots, he can play on and off the ball. That's key. A lot of guys and kids, I hope you're listening. Are you effective without the basketball in your hands? Are you effective without the basketball in your hands? Because Drew Holiday is, and that's why other superstars are going to be budding to play with him. So, to answer in short, every team that's contending for a championship or trying to make one of those moves is going to be out there trying to get Drew Holiday because he can play alongside another point guard because he can guard big, he can go score, and he's just one of those unique guys. I compare him to like a Mike Conley, where he can wear that Batman hat, he can be that superstar, and then he's selfless enough of a leader, egoless to where he'll go out and make plays. And he's just True Holiday. Listen, the Holiday family alone, if you get a chance to know him, some of the best individuals that you will ever meet in your life. I mean, Gerald, you need to go spend a weekend with the Holidays, man. You need to go hang with them, man. Get some home training, man. Some of the way you be acting sometimes, man. But shout out to Drew Holiday. But I think those services will be well required. And shoot, don't also miss. I'm gonna throw another team out there right now. Maybe you couldn't get 1A, maybe you get 1B. And the Miami Heat, I'm saying, hey, Drew Holiday, we got assets. We kind of shook up our locker room, and we trying to make a move regardless. That may be the move right there, because that's a team that's trying to compete. And it seems like whenever you say trade, the Heat are always just lurking around, man. You say trade, and the Heat ain't far away. They're one of those organizations.
Yeah, I don't see it being a fit down there. In somewhat, yes, they've lost some pieces in terms of some of the guys that were very, very rotational guys or influential guys in there. But I don't know if Portland. So that's the biggest thing is that Portland's not just going to waive him. You have this asset here, but I mean, if I'm Portland, we're kind of set at the guard play, right? The guard position, we don't really need that. We need perhaps maybe a wing or something like that. And I don't think that's something that the Miami Heat have. So be really interesting to see how exactly Miami maneuvers, because like you said, on paper, everything is on paper right now. But when you look at this overall on paper, I do believe that there's going to be some type of a knee-jerk reaction, because now you have Milwaukee here, Boston's probably right there, and then after that, it's on paper a likely heavy, heavy drop in terms of the difference in terms of teams that have positioned themselves to be able to represent the East in the NBA Finals. Just how the way things goes. Ryan, I want to get back to a little football. I want to get into some more of the stuff, but I got to ask you, you're an alum of the Pac-12. You played at UCLA, and we look at, obviously, the landscape in college sports, specifically in college football. When you look at this idea and the notion that this is arguably the last year of the Pac-12 conference, what are your thoughts about this and just seeing how all this stuff, like UCLA is going to be in the Big Ten. Like, when you look at this and hear this, we know what's driving the bus. But as an alum from the Pac-12, what are your overall thoughts about it?
Bittersweet, man. It's tough because it's almost saying that you were able to you failed as a conference, and you had those story matchups and story rivalries that you're not going to see anymore, at least on a conference level. I'm sure you can match up. The relationships may be there out of conference, but a lot of them won't happen at a conference level. I am excited though, in greater news, and I'll answer two things right here, and I'll bring them to people's awareness. One is that you're going to see some of these like tournament matchups, like a showcase matchups, like early, and you're going to see UCLA playing Michigan State, like these huge. This is crazy. Like these are football wise, these are Rose Bowl matchups that you don't see until like the big show. So I think from a respect standpoint, because what was happening is the Pac-12 teams we're playing against each other and getting no respect at all, and then going out and balling out in tournament time and making a name for themselves and saying, man, we got to do something. This is backwards here because as a conference, we're being looked over. So I think it's exciting from that aspect. You're going to see box office basketball and football. And for those people like, how are they going to travel across the conference? Gee, do you know when I played at UCLA preseason? So what you'll do likely is you'll flip the preseason schedule will probably be all the local teams, the easy ones, the San Diego States, the Santa Barbaras. Those will be the close games. And then when you get in conference, you'll go, because when I played early on, we would go to New York. We would go and play Georgetown. We will go out and travel across the country. So now you're just probably less to travel early, knowing that in conference time you'll be moving around.
Ryan, don't do that. Doggone well. Let's call it what it is, right? These are professional athletes, okay?
For sure.
Around holiday time. So, yeah, you go to the Maui Invitational, you fly here, fly there. These young men will be flying and going different places. This is the Big Ten. So that's Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, Iowa, all of those places. And then still talking about they're going to be expected to go to school and study on a Monday. You're talking about Saturday. So, I mean, essentially, look, if they play Saturday, they're flying in on Friday, right? After the game, they're leaving. So you're getting back Saturday night. Or if you got a Saturday night game, you're leaving, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. You're getting home, and then you got class the next day, Monday or so. It is what it is. And I think, unfortunately, when you look at it, yeah, we know that money's driving the bus. We know that the money is driving the bus. It's great. It's kind of interesting. Like you said, you have those interesting matchups where it's like, oh, my God. Like, I can recall when Rutgers went into the Big Ten. So now you had Ohio State coming to play Rutgers in New Jersey. It was like, oh, my God, this is so amazing. But then after a while, if you look at it, wouldn't college football be better and so much easier if they were able to emulate what they do in college basketball? Like, I've said this so many times, and people would say the same thing. Oh, my God, no, it's too much travel. Expose the kids. They're playing so much football. No. Well, how about if you have something that was what works for the college basketball side and those young men and women? Why can't it work for college football where you had something that was, in a sense, similar to college basketball, March Madness, NCAA tournament, and infuse a lot of the bowl games? Because honestly, if you're not one of those top 4 teams playing in the playoffs, those bowls are irrelevant. You're having kids now saying, I'm not playing because I got to get ready for the NFL draft. And so now the value, it drops, it decimates. Like, theoretically, what we're going to do with the Rose Bowl, right? Could this possibly be the last year? Why not make some of these first round games? Oh, this is at the Rose Bowl. The Gator Bowl will host this. All this. The Cotton Bowl will have this. And now you have these teams and schools and top players who, yeah, maybe will decide not to play, but I think the majority would play if you had something set up where everybody is playing in a tournament that could last, I don't want to say a month, maybe somewhere between 3 weeks, maybe the equivalent to the NFL playoffs and stuff. When you look at that, Ryan, how much of a far-fetched idea is that to have perhaps an expanded playoffs that instead of 4 teams or 12 teams like they just recently talked about, but maybe, I don't know, 32 teams? I don't know.
I don't think it's far-fetched at all. All I can say is that maybe some of the power teams may complain because if there is a chance that they lose in an early round, you see, there's a risk when it comes to March Madness that Duke loses in the first round. Michigan State loses. Michigan loses in the first round. UCLA loses early, and it's crazy. We have seen that. We're getting a lot of these mid-major, the lower D1s that are filling up the Final Four. We're searching around for the Dukes and the Carolinas and the UCLAs as far as college basketball championships. And I think the fear is that will slide over into the football side, and you'll have hey, you might have Florida State, Texas A&M. You might have a regular. It might be Oregon against A&M or somebody, against Pitt. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a random name that may not bring the money. If we get Alabama in the mix, that's money. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think the challenge will be money, but I get what you're saying. Let's get more football going. I'm not mad at that, G. I've been right along with it. And the one thing that we know about athletes and conferences, they will adjust. They will adjust. And just like I'm sure if we go back and we ask our pop moms and our pops or grandpa, hey man, who's the power conference? Some of those teams may not be good anymore. Some of those teams maybe fell off from college. So yeah, there's a shift of power that those old heads don't like, that those big time power fives don't like. That's happening. Shout out Deion Sanders. There's a shift happening right now. Players are understanding their power, G.
Well, you mentioned about Deion Sanders, and I wanted to ask you that here as we almost closing it out here on Heavy in the Paint. Former NBA player, current Houston Rockets TV analyst, Mr. Ryan Hollins, joining me. When look at what Deion has done, and I mean, again, you could be a baseball player, a basketball player, whatever it may be. It's phenomenal what he's doing in terms of just his impact. He's doing it in the Pac-12, and I just thought that it was amazing that Boulder, Colorado has embraced him and the excitement. Not only something that was regional, this is national. When you look at this as a former Pac-12 participant and look at what Deion is doing, what are your thoughts?
Man, it's amazing. He's changing the culture, the way that we view collegiate athletics. He's showing that you can do it. He's empowering players. He's relating to players. He's not having a my way or the highway type of approach. He's letting these guys get money. He is Deion. He's comfortable in his skin. There was such a divide between player and coach at that level. There was such a dictatorship when we speak to college athletics that Deion is breaking. He's saying, I'm going to treat you like a young man. I'm going to let you get your money. I'm gonna let you smile, put your chain on, do all that. But we get on the field, we get in the classroom, it's time to work. When it's time to be a man of character or woman of character, it's time to work. So shout out to Deion Sanders. He's changing culture. It's absolutely amazing. I think these pro jobs are gonna be beating his door down. Interesting to see when Shadur goes pro. If it's not after this year or the next year, if Deion goes right along with him. I had a chance to interview Deion before he took the job. He dropped the bomb to us. I didn't see it coming. I didn't understand it. It's been amazing what he's done, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and follows his son to the NFL. Now, I'm intrigued to see in what capacity. I don't think Deion, I think he's proven himself. He's much more than a position coach. He could have had a position coach, been a position coach in the NFL a long time ago.
Absolutely.
I think if there's a team or an organization that's willing to go shake things up, I think Deion is that guy. We saw Jeff Saturday got a shot. Shout out Jeff Saturday, one of my colleagues over at ESPN. He got a shot with the Colts. I think these owners are looking to come out and shake things up. But if you can have fun, enjoy yourself, play hard, Deion Sanders is the guy right now. Look at what Pete Carroll does up there with the Seahawks. When he's rocking out, they have fun. They're these underdog mentality. Imagine what Deion Sanders could do at the pro level or at any level per se, just by having respect for these guys, going out and working and being a role model that he is, because, it's scary when you're coach, and it doesn't always work like this, G. Deion is different. You can get a star player, but sometimes a star player is not dove into the coaching side. When we interviewed Deion, the one thing he said is that he watched more film than anybody. There's a shot of him looking at film in his locker. And this is before we had the film on our phone, the film in the locker room, all the access. So Deion had been watching film. He's been a student of the game for a very, very long time. So it's scary when you get those guys that can wear both shoes. They can do both things. And honestly, Gerald, here's the problem with this. It's intimidating to a lot of folks who can't. It's very intimidating. And that's what we're seeing. And we hope that the next megastar player that gets his shot, because they're going to be pushed into these roles, takes it as serious as Deion does. All right.
I think you hit on a couple of things. The fact is, the swag, the
For
persona,
sure.
model, to have somebody to do it like that and then be able to translate it into coaching. It's a very difficult process, and not everybody's able to make that transition. And I remember watching TV and Dan Orlovsky said that, this Colorado and what Deion's doing is sort of reminds him of Michigan's Fab Five and their impact. And I thought that was a great
For
analysis.
sure.
But I walked away and I said, I don't think if I'm staying in the realm of everything with football related and the impact, I think it's what Pete Carroll did when he first got to USC and how, you had the stars.
It was a show.
Everybody there. USC football was, again, it was almost like a traveling NFL show, and everybody wanted to be a part of that. That's what's happening in Boulder. Yes, he might make that jump to the NFL, although I hope he doesn't, because I think it's a really different animal when you're coaching guys that have already gotten their money, and the veterans. Not to say that he couldn't do it, and I think that clearly they're probably going to throw a bunch of money in his direction, especially if they continue to evolve and develop at Colorado, that it will make it a little difficult for him to turn down. But it's been phenomenal. And say in some regards, he has saved college football. He has made college football relevant.
For sure.
Hands down, where every game is.
Hey, have you missed the Colorado game yet?
No, I haven't.
Me either.
I haven't. I've watched all of them up to the point. Ryan, I got about a minute left or so. You're getting ready for this upcoming season and stuff, and I got to ask you right off the bat, have you gotten rid of that pink suit that you wore when you were doing First Take up in New York? You look like a used car salesman. Got love for you, but you looking like a used car salesman. You were styling with the boots. You had the white boots on, but did you get rid of that suit?
For one, the suit ain't going nowhere. It's live in effect. Yeah, pink pinstripe. And for the funny thing, for those who don't know, G has always been one of my biggest supporters. And you came onto the show with me that day.
Yes.
And I ain't tell you nothing. And I said, all right, meet me at this spot. And like the look on you just kept looking at me like we were walking. I was like, yeah, first you had a shock. Me and G, we walking in the First Tape, and he just keeps stopping and looking at me. You're really going to wear that. You're really going to wear that. And we did it. We broke the internet, baby. So the suit is there. It will be worn again. I'm waiting for the proper time, but we're going to make it do what it do, baby. All right. When the proper time comes around, that pink suit is going to be out and popping, man. It's going to be live in effect. And you're going to be the first person I give a call to let you know that the suit is back, baby.
You know what, Ryan? Listen, man, I've always been very, very happy, proud of your success, because one thing could never be said is the fact is that you took an easy route. No, you paid your dues. You worked hard at this, man. You continue to do a lot of things that's going on. Let everybody know real quickly outside of stuff from the social, from broadcasting. What do you have going on? I know you talk about the podcast you have, the stuff you're doing with the NBA players, talking about their rookie life and all that stuff, and where people can keep up with it.
Man, check me out. The Ryan Hollins on Twitter, Ryan Hollins on Instagram, NBA Rookie Life with iHeart and the NBA. We have a lot of fun bringing the players on, and we get to watch film and do some cool stuff behind the scenes look. So I have some fun there on the podcast, have some fun guests that I've had on. And essentially, obviously, those Rocket games. And, I might show up anywhere, dog. I might show up in. Gee, I don't know if you saw this. I showed up at the MCS, the Madden Challenge, bro. I was an analyst for the football video game. Yeah, I was an NBA player, baby, but I showed up as an analyst for the NFL football. So I had a blast doing it. Check me out, man. I'm grinding, but check the social. And if you get a moment, absolutely check out NBA Rookie Life with Ryan Hollins. That's NBA Rookie Life with Ryan Hollins. Shoot a like, follow, subscribe, any of that. But G, it's been a pleasure, brother. I appreciate you, man. You know that, man.
Always, without a doubt. Make sure you check it out. And who says that NBA players can't talk about the NFL? That about wraps it up. It's heavy in the paint. Jrue Brown, Rick Owen is still on the men. That back is going on, but I think the missus got him cleaning up around the house. Once again, kudos to Ryan Hollins. Make sure you keep it locked here for everything heavy in the paint. Peace.